strong enough, but I ain't never giving up. And I'll leave this future behind me. Na 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 na. I'll keep going, nothing can stop me. Na 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 na.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to yet another episode in grainy 720p as I'm off-site again for yet another show. Once again, we have got quite the lineup ready for you. And last time we started with meme stock stuff, we're going back to the original formula for Truth Be Told and starting with something that's a little bit more mainstream. But before we can get started on that, I'm going to bring in our guests. As usual, we have Platinum Sparkles. How
Honestly,
are you
I think
doing?
you're like 360p. I don't even think.
480i, you know, the old.
720.
The camera says 720. That's what I'm going with. Grainy webcam footage. And also we have Amy.
I know. I was like,
Girl
720p? Are we sure about that?
I was like literally laughing out loud. I'm like, did he just say 720?
It doesn't seem like it, but
Yeah, well.
yeah, well.
Look, that's the specs on the camera. I can only go with what it says. But anyway, so we have a pretty big story tonight. Last time, what was it? It was back in, I want to say July, or was it September? We talked about the Andrew left situation and July.
Well, okay. So go to my quote tweet because go down a little bit.
There. This.
You can do it.
Yeah. July 30th. There we go.
There
I was right the first time. Awesome. Let's see here. We got the
I actually forgot what the charges were, right? Until Ocelot brought up the fact that it got past the motion to dismiss, and I was like, and then he was talking about the charges, and I actually totally forgot how bad it actually was. Like I forgot that, like he said that hedge funds like didn't pay him. He was like trying to hide the payments, and he was, creating these like anonymous online accounts to like pretty much bash stocks, like to pretty much do like what people say that like we do.
Yeah.
That we don't actually even do. Like he was a real actual.
We don't, and he did.
Like an actual bad actor.
Yeah, he was like a real like paid shill. Like he was doing some real shady shit for sure.
Well, not even a shill, because he was
trying to get to where it gets.
Well, he was shill though. He was like shilling it, whatever way he wanted.
Okay.
And you know what I mean? Like that's like a real shill. Like
really doing it. Does he have a Virtue jacket?
True. I mean, maybe.
That's the mark of a real shill.
But yeah, motion to dismiss was denied, and that's against.
I'm trying to find out where the
for the SEC so far. So DOJ, nothing yet.
Yeah, this isn't even the criminal.
Well, see, that was the thing that was really like
right. This is the civil charge. Right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is usually when you have the criminal complaint, you stay the civil one until the criminal's complete. It makes me wonder what's going on with the criminal case if they're going forward with the SEC charges instead of doing the. They're going with the SEC complaint first. It makes me wonder: is there something holding up the criminal, or are they going to, I guess, shuffle the criminal charges under the rug and just?
Well, does it support the?
Because I mean, like we said before, it seems pretty blatant.
Let's see.
Well, there were two separate cases, so this one is. How do I get back up to the top here? Page up.
I mean,
this one's the SEC one that you said, right? And the other one is United States versus. Yeah, so like this is this is Securities Exchange Commission. The criminal one would have been United States versus Andrew Left, and they're two separate. So maybe we do have a motion to dismiss. Being denied on that one.
Well, the motion to dismiss was denied for this one, but not for the DOJ one, because I checked the DOJ one. Let me try to find it.
What are the charges?
Okay,
so if the SEC proves securities fraud, and does it just support the DOJ case? Like, I think that's what matters, right? Or is it always that the civil cases stayed for the criminal?
Usually the civil case goes second. If they're going forward with the criminal case, usually you just because you can't do both at the same time because it creates a. So usually the criminal goes first, and then you get the civil after. If there's anything, if the person goes to jail, I mean, you can still go forward with the civil, but it's not like you're going to be able to collect much of anything. They're in jail. I mean, maybe you'll be able to collect assets, but usually the criminal case is already doing that. So I went too far. I'm trying to figure out where we have the actual this is not very good at delineating where everything is on it. Maybe you've got it marked up.
This is the DOJ one. So this was the last filing here. Is someone's cat hitting their mic? I don't have a cat.
No, it's noisy on his rollerball on the mic. Not, it's just you can hear your.
My mic should be put out as
hitting your
mouse. Tapping at the keyboard.
Are you tapping at the keyboard? Whichever. Yeah.
Yeah, I have a real mushy keyboard on this laptop.
So wait, go back up to the top there. What did that just? What does the top say? It says order continuing trial date. Okay. And findings.
Oh, so they got a continuance. Wait, they're already going to trial, or are they just moving it back?
Pre-trial conference on March. It just said it up there at the top.
Oh wow. So yeah, I don't know why this is going forward if they're already looking at a pre-trial conference. If they're going forward,
the pre-trial conference has already happened. It was in March.
Yeah.
Uncle Rico.
Defendant Andrew left supplemental. Oh, they're still on the motion to dismiss in the criminal one too.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But they still haven't gotten a ruling out on the motion to dismiss for the criminal one.
Motion to dismiss case, blah blah blah.
I mean, because that's what I'm trying to figure out here. Because if they're going forward with the SEC one and they've got the motion, we got a response to his motion to dismiss on the criminal case.
Response, their notice of supplemental in support of his motion to dismiss. Blah blah blah.
Okay. So, but we haven't gotten a ruling back on the motion to dismiss on. It's really weird because it almost makes me want to think that they think that the case is weak on the criminal side. Why else would you go forward with unless they had to respond, unless he fired off both at the same time and they had to respond to it? That might be what happened, where his lawyers filed both in the criminal and the civil their motion to dismiss, and so they had a time clock and they had to respond to it regardless of if they were going to go forward with the criminal or not.
Yeah, I mean I'm pretty sure they were both the same day, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that might be why.
But yeah, the SEC one is definitely going forward. At least we know that much.
Yeah, because we got past the motion to dismiss. Let's see if I can find out what specifically was the reasons. Okay, so
according to West Christian, if you get past the motion to dismiss, you won.
Oh, then.
I mean, if you're planning on settling, that's not a wrong assumption.
What? Pretty sure all of his ends in settlement.
Well, right, because he's kind of a loser. Claims 1 and 2, plaintiff's fraudulent scheme claims. On claims 1 and 2, allegedly the defendant operated a fraudulent scheme with the ultimate goal of capitalizing on price movements defendant created. Such activities plaintiff asserts violate sections. Yep. Defendant's challenge to plaintiff's contra recommendation trading theory rests in part on whether Citron's publications encompassed investment recommendations as opposed to investment opinions, relying on, among other items, the disclaimer on defendant Citron's website and the Black's Law Dictionary definition of the term recommendation. Defendants argue that Citron publications merely consist of opinions, not recommendations, that neither encourage nor induced Citron research readers to see we're getting in those splitty hair territories that a lot of YouTube grifters like to do. I'm just giving my opinions, guys. It was just an opinion, bro.
This is not advice.
NFA.
Looks like looks like that was not taken so hot. Defendants argue opinions as from other statements triggering faulty liability in scalping cases. As stated previously, however, at this stage of the proceeding, the court accepts all material allegations in the complaint as true and declines to consider such extrinsic evidence to refute the truth of the complaint's allegations. Moreover, the complaint's allegations that, among other deceptive conduct, defendants recommended others buy or sell the stock of targeted companies while concealing defendants' left intent to act in a manner that was contrary to the recommendation, presents sufficient facts to support plaintiff's fraudulent scheme theory of liability. Do remember that, like they said in the motion to dismiss, we're not at the point of determining, we're not at summary judgment. We're not at the trial. So it's all well-pled facts. So long as the SEC, the plaintiff here, makes a cognizable argument that's based on factual statements, not, potential possibility, coulda, mayha, shoulda, woulda, it's, they did this fits with the pleading standards for this. That's all we're considering here. And looks like they cleared that hurdle pretty well. Let's see here. There was another. Here we are. Claims 3 and 4. Additionally to the scheme liability claims, plaintiff raises 2 claims against defendant. Plaintiff theorizes that defendant's publications presented misleading half-truths. Defendant's representation of the complaint oversimplifies and disregards numerous factual allegations raised therein. As a preliminary matter, the Supreme Court established that...
Real quick, we have a visitor here who says that we love AMC and we're not leaving.
Well, good for them.
Congratulations.
Okay, whatever.
Tell Ethan we said hi.
Indeed, the court in its most recent term declared that Rule 10b-5b requires disclosure of information necessary to ensure the statement already made was clear and complete. In other words, this rule therefore covers half-truths. Oops. Wow, this is really looking bad for internet grifters.
I'm really missing your mouse capabilities here.
Yeah, what is that sound? It sounds like
he's pressing the button on his laptop.
I've got this keyboard and it's very mushy laptop keyboard, and it's not as nice as the mechanical one I have. So get ready for lots of.
I mean, that's,
you're like smashing. All I hear is smashing.
Not fun.
It also doesn't help that I could use my laptop mouse, but it kind of sucks. But anyway,
well, it's got to be better than.
I don't know. It tends to move things better on the keyboard, unfortunately. So, yeah. Is there? Doesn't look like it doesn't look good for Andrew Left right now. But again, this is just we got past the motion to dismiss phase, which means we're actually going to get to see some discovery. So maybe some things are going to come out. I don't know how discovery is really going to look good for him, probably, but we'll see. Might find out that there's not much there.
Anson funds too, right? Where is that right now? Is that I forget where that is. I actually linked to that too in that tweet. In the tweet from July. We can look later, but those two things I feel like they go together, right? Like Anson, because they were also mentioned in the Andrew Left lawsuit, obviously.
And there could be discovery against them for what sort of agreements he had with them and all that sort of thing. So
he was an actual paid shell. Yeah, exactly.
And one of the rare cases,
yeah, that's the one.
Like this was. So this document right here.
Yeah, see, one of the funds that paid him already got a cease and desist and penalties from the SEC.
Whoops.
Yeah.
So this might have been the reason why they even had information on him or were going after him in the first place. But this is back in 2018. But like, you know how these SEC cases go, they move about like a glacier. So, and it was part of an investigation they were already doing anyway. I mean, wasn't there sort of a in-depth post GME short seller kind of shakedown?
Yeah, the DOJ was going after all these short sellers, supposedly. But I think so far it's only really been like Andrew Left that we've seen from the DOJ, right?
And it didn't have anything to do with GME.
It seems to, and because not only was he very loud and vocal, but he's clearly was the one doing shady shit in the back room. Like, you talk about some place like Hindenburg where they'll put their money where their mouth is, at least as far as we know, and has been very accurate as to the people that they've picked shots at. Whereas, it seems like Andrew Left kind of makes his own market.
Right. And then says that, he's not getting paid by anybody, but then like makes these, fake receipts and these make believe consultant agreements allegedly. Yeah. But it could be FINRA. This is true. It could also just be FINRA.
It could be FINRA. It could be FINRA. Man. But I figured that would make a good opener as an update for this evening, because like I was kind of wondering where that case had disappeared to. It's just like we talked about it, and
things take so long.
July probably was our first August episode, and it was just
right.
Things take.
But
yeah, that'll continue.
But from one grifter to our meme stock section for our other grifters.
The naked short squeeze expert.
Goodness. Like this surprised me. Like, it shouldn't have surprised me, but it did surprise me.
Why?
That this came out. Like, I'm not surprised by who it is. I'm just surprised that, like, maybe I should have been surprised that, like, a company would stoop this low to go to Kevin Malone of all the grifters.
So we had a space call with him a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, he had him on space.
And
I did not
like
know
Kevin
about
wasn't
that.
random call. They were, showing the unbuzzed product on the space call.
Oh, so this was already pre-laid.
Yeah, exactly. So this was, basically, this company had also hired some other, sort of like stock support company or whatever. So they're paying him in shares.
What the fuck is a stock support company?
Stock support consultants.
Someone. Stock support consultants. Is your company a shitty company that doesn't make any money? Do you need to steal money from shareholders to keep your paycheck afloat? Call us at the stock support
we
company.
Are experts in naked short squeeze manipulation.
Naked short squeeze expert.
But we're fighting the manipulation also. We're advocating against naked short selling, but yet in stock manipulation. But also on his website, he is advertising that he goes after short squeezes.
And that like, why would you include that? Like, the squeeze part is chef's kiss.
What's really chef's kiss? Maybe you can share that with us, Amy. I think the real chef's kiss is what you dug up about this company.
What the?
Oh God.
The infinite float.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I think Platt found that, but yeah,
they have unlimited authorized. Yeah, I didn't even know that was possible. I was like, wait, how do they have unlimited shares?
Okay, it's not in the U.S., but it is in Canada.
Is it on your Twitter account, Amy?
Yeah. So yeah, it is in Canada, and then it's got a pretty storied past as well. Like it was a
they used to be huge.
It was a medical marijuana company first, and then it was like FSD Pharma. The ticker was huge, and then they did a reverse split and ticker change, name change to QNTM.
No, that's
and then Sean Williams actually replied. So I think Sean did a pretty in-depth dive on them back in the day. Let me pull up his tweet or his reply. Sorry, because I did find his interesting.
Yeah, I can share it too.
It's on my post.
Oh, is it on this
Sean
one
replied. Here? Yeah. So if you can scroll down, you'll see his reply. But do you see it on there?
I don't see it on this one.
Huh.
No, not on this one at least.
Okay. Well,
But I think you might have.
Maybe he quote tweeted. Did he quote tweet it? So, okay, yeah, here he is. So he said, also fun. Well, so he replied, and he's, this was after Kevin Malone unblocked me to say no debt, 90.
Oh yeah, because he bet you because you were making fun of it.
Yeah. Well, I wasn't making fun of it. I just, I quote tweeted his, and so Quantum tweeted it, like the announcement, and all I put was reverse split 8/26/24 first tranche of debenture issuance. Like I just listed their like activity, right? Apparently, that's upsetting. But Kevin Malone replied with no debt, 90% cash to share price. Not a metric.
Yeah, that when I saw that one,
he said products in the market already. And I'll bet you $1,000 you won't short 10K shares for the next month with your genius analysis.
The company doesn't even have $1,000 of revenue.
Well, right. But let's just talk about how this bet is for the next month, right? Like, so what's your real goal here? Is it to pump the price? So, because
obviously,
I mean, it's so that they can do an offering.
Yeah.
Like, is that why Kevin Malone? Just wondering. Anyway.
Yeah.
So
he's trying to help the alcoholics of this world, clearly.
Right. So Sean said, "Oh, I love making up metrics, like how Quantum has incinerated nearly $83 a share in cash since its inception. $83 per share. Like,
yeah,
Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, then he said, also fun. I used to cover FSD Pharma back during the Canadian LP cannabis craze. FSD Pharma's subsidiary FV Pharma flopped. The company surrendered its license, liquidated FV Pharma's assets, and pivoted back to drug development. All good companies do that, right? So Kevin was talking about like the MS drug, and like the CEO was on there, and he's like, well, I'm not a scientist. And he's like talking about the drugs they're developing or whatever. And I'm like, you can't even talk about the things that you're developing or that are released, right? He's like, well, I'm not a scientist.
This is what they are selling unbuzzed.
Oh, 1 second. Keep holding it up there. We got some product placement. Give it to us.
Yeah, right. Hit me up. You can pay me in shares.
She's gonna drink 6 drinks, erase 3, and then drive on tonight's show.
Oh yeah, totally.
Because they did say that you would be safe to drive if you take this after drinking.
I had 2 drinks, and so by the end of this, I should have -1 drink.
So we're gonna watch Platt reverse drinking on the show.
Yes, exactly.
But that was the craziest part was they were like, so yeah, you can have like 6 drinks. You can take this 15 minutes, gonna erase 3 drinks, and then you're totally safe to drive, man.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely, totally safe to drive. Trust me,
Yeah,
bro.
but I'll be driving live on stream.
So not only are they gonna delete the shit out of you, they're also gonna get you a DUI. Perfect. Please, I just want to make a PSA.
If you end up taking the product and end up getting a DUI,
right? So I mean, just
blowing
good
for
question.
PSA. Like, please, nobody drink and take this and think that you're safe to drive. Nobody test this.
But it says I'll be renewed and invigorated like a newborn babe emerging from a Nordic ice bath. It literally
doesn't say that. It doesn't say that. Are you lying?
It literally says that. It says that. I promise it says
I hate it. I hate everything about it. Throw it in the garbage. Please don't take that into your body.
I'm drinking it. If I don't wake up tomorrow, guys, like it's been real.
You should just do like one of those like time.
Nobody take this and drive, please. I just really
vlogs,
want to emphasize this. Even if Kevin Malone tells you it's okay,
definitely not.
Please don't take this and drive.
Don't take it at all, probably.
Do not recommend. There was one from last week, one of these little scam codes that I totally missed out on. I had it on the list of things to do, but I was not prepared.
Oh my god!
Another
stupid soon. Yeah.
So like, can I get? I'm missing all these.
So all
new
the penny stock
codes.
pumpers on Twitter are like pumping the SC money, right? And that's where this is coming from. And if you look, like, of course, you know, they have, how much have they increased the float? Let's see. Why don't we just go to
one of my favorite
40X,
pumpers, the anti-Semitic
40X.
Polish assassin.
They 40X the float.
There it is, yeah.
And Anna Trades and like fucking, you know, Hannah Short Killer and, you know, all the usual suspects are running around talking about there's only a 2 to 4 million share float. And
hey, we got one with the whole list here. Raman was kind enough to give us the whole list of shillers for this piece of shit turd.
In one
So we
fell
had
swoop. And they're like,
of
well,
course,
they're posting.
Pedro
So here's the
and
thing,
his
yeah,
trade.
and they're all posting, oh, it's trading, you know, 30 times its float and blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, they're exercising warrants. They are like the massive amount. Like they're 40xing the float. That's what you're not seeing. And you're saying that it's naked shorts. Like, come on, bro.
We aren't totally done with Kevin Malone and the baggy crew. This is really like scrunched up on my screen. I don't know why.
We're all about to be done for reading this. And like, you sent this.
Do you guys have it loaded
This was
up
my
to
tweet of the
read?
week.
Because I can't.
You're stealing it.
Yeah,
You're stealing my tweet of the week right now.
I already had it predestined to be part of the show, so I'm sorry.
Yeah, this was my stupid tweet of the week.
You're gonna have to pick a
You want me to read this?
Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah.
Yeah, go right ahead. Since I stole it from you.
Dear board of directors.
Dear board.
This is Jimmy. Dear board of directors. The name is Kevin Malone, founder and CEO of Malone Wealth Ventures LLC, a registered investment advisory firm. Some of you know me, and some of you might not. I wanted to bring up the vote for directors at the upcoming annual meeting with a little history. In 2020, my clients were a top 10 holder. Of GameStop stock.
Yeah, that was my favorite part.
In my Edward Jones office. So Malone Wealth, not with Malone Wealth. EJ wasn't a top 10 holder. My clients as a whole were. Now it's 2025, and my clients still have a top 10 voting. Still have a top 10 voting of shares. This guy's grammar is
bad.
Was bad as his investment advice. 10 of shares at this year's annual meeting. Nat Turner is an extraordinary entrepreneur and brings collecting excellence to millions of consumers through the company he has built. I have nothing but respect for everything he has ever accomplished. I would love to shake his hand one day. I don't know much about Jim Grube or Daniel Moore, but they will sit in the same category for this year's vote. I will be recommending to all of the clients that I don't have voting power for to vote no on Nat, Jim, or Daniel until they have proven to investors that they are willing to put their own money where their mouth is and buy shares. If my clients and I are choosing to continuously acquire more shares with our own money, I expect the company's entire board to be doing the same, like Ryan, Alan, and Larry do. I think I missed the part where he misspelled category, because it is in there somewhere. I have offered multiple times on X to work for the board for free and continue accumulating shares with my own money. That offer still stands, and we can talk privately about that if you choose. My handle is @Malone Wealth. If you would like to take a look at my history, including my idea about GME getting into PSA cards almost 2 months before the partnership was created.
You can tell how unserious this is. It's like, how about your phone number? How about your email contact? Real contact information?
If he were to read the proxy statement, it does say what is needed if you want to write to the board. Also, good news, Kevin. If you actually do vote yes for Nat to join the board, there is a equity ownership policy where he will be required to buy shares. As a non-employee director, he will. Wow. Yeah, look at that. They actually do have stock ownership guidelines. So great news, Kevin. Just read that proxy statement that you're
that's been in effect for quite some time.
Reading
right?
is like the anathema of these people.
This isn't a new policy. But
Not only that,
one of the things he prides himself on is his research. So doing great.
I mean, if his research skills are better than PP seeds, I'll say that, but that ain't really saying a whole lot.
It's pretty low bar.
Yeah, it's that was I got a little ahead of myself. I don't know if I'll actually.
How about 101 ways to embarrass yourself in the financial field?
Well, I mean, you got to realize who you're talking about here. They find new and exciting ways to embarrass themselves. I did find this. I haven't gotten the chance to read it. This is the quantum biotherapeutics lawsuit.
Oh, they have so many lawsuits
going after the. Yeah, well, this is the only one I found on Pacer.
Oh no, they have a ton of lawsuits.
I haven't gotten the chance to read it yet, but I will at some point, and we'll actually go over this.
So this is their lawsuit where they claim spoofing is what they're claiming.
Spoofing. Okay, spoofing.
But
sorry.
What it actually is, and what they are conflating, and it's not really surprising who it comes from. I'll give you 3 guesses, but the first 2 don't count.
Oh yeah, was it West Christian?
Mm-hmm, yeah, that's the one.
So what they list?
Oh boy,
they list like a table of like their evidence of spoofing. And what it actually is
Is it the same junk evidence he had in the Mullen case?
It's a standard order to trade ratio, like what they're posting.
Is there anyone more like?
Well, this is listed in their paperwork. Like it's not spoofing; it's a requirement for market makers, and they actually get charged if they they quote and cancel too much. They actually get charged for that. So there are actually things in place to prevent spoofing. But what they show, I mean, it's in that lawsuit. I have the picture of it if you actually want to see it.
Oh, okay.
That chart.
So it's that.
It's also inverted.
Yeah, I know it's inverted.
So we can't actually read it.
But yeah, those are order to trade ratios that they are listing in their lawsuit. That's spoofing.
Next up, if you want to take the driver's seat, Platinum, you'd notice something interesting in the metamaterials bankruptcy, if I do remember correctly.
Well, actually, Ocelot pointed that out to me. He was like, "Oh, check out doc, whatever it was, 1878 or whatever." Oof. Very interesting. Let's go to it.
I think you probably maybe start with the Exhibit D, which is the letter to the trustee's attorney.
Yeah, hold on. Where is
I
it?
think it's.
Well, why don't we start with the main document and then we can go to the exhibits,
document, but
there's a couple of them that are funny.
Okay, 1878. Here it is. Let me share screen.
So what we're about to go over is an update to Wes Christian's appearance as one of the like expert attorneys for the estate, more or less,
of
correct?
metamaterials. Yeah, which I guess I don't know. For me, at least, I found out some new information that I did not realize. But
like there's $11 million allocated.
Well, no, I already knew that. Because he already said that before. Said that in the original. They had a third party, blah blah blah, and it was like a legitimate.
What I didn't know is all these lawsuits on paragraph
right? They just called it a third party.
Well, he's not they did list the third party that is funding it, and it's like some random.
Or are these
thing.
All the MMTLP cases?
Yeah, these are the ones against the Nextbridge. So apparently some of the so I didn't realize that he was asked by Nextbridge to defend them in some of these pro se cases, right?
The company, but not Greg McCabe.
Oh, because they're all in Texas.
Right. But not all of the pro se cases. I feel like
the only ones he mentioned are the ones in Texas, because those are probably the only ones he was asked.
Well, weren't there more in Texas?
On the bar in Texas.
And there's one and it's the ones that list Nextbridge hydrocarbons, not Greg himself.
Right. Okay. In addition, the same group have filed other numerous pro se lawsuits in which he's not involved. The point being is it is important for the court to understand the scope and intent of what the pro se plaintiffs have done to harm Meta. Some of the other pro se lawsuits have been filed but not served. It is my belief, so this is Wes Christian saying, it is my belief that the pro se cases and other pro se lawsuits are a coordinated effort to obstruct the efforts of the bankruptcy estate to hold accountable all parties who previously manipulated the securities of metamaterials.
Now you wonder. Now you got your answer as to where the baggies get it from.
This includes many of the pro se cases suing former officers and or directors of Meta.
Yeah, because they fucked them.
Right. So he's trying to say that they're a coordinated effort.
Yeah.
He's
trying to say all of the 1209 cases they're coordinated
like they're the evil short sellers trying to.
He says it here, they're basically running cover for the market manipulators that he's trying to expose.
What a fucking clown. How do people take him seriously?
These are shareholders,
backwards is this is so crazy.
These are shareholders, some of them shareholders of MMAT and MMTLP.
Yeah, all right. So he says, as stated in the letter, I did not and still do not believe that. Well, so he doesn't think that his representation of Nextbridge in the pro se cases was a conflict or caused me to cease to be disinterested. However, after further consideration, I've decided to withdraw from representing Nextbridge in the pro se cases, as I do not want this onslaught of the pro se cases to continue to harass the office of the trustee. And more importantly, this honorable court.
How it ever, the trustee was ever bothered by these?
I don't think so.
These pro se cases got an automatic stay, right? Because they're in bankruptcy. At least as to the metamaterials.
Well, the pro se cases didn't even get an automatic stay.
Because and some of the pro se cases do go after former Meta.
They don't even go after metamaterials. I feel like
so they don't go after
not metamaterials, the company, but former executives. Yeah, not metamaterials itself, but some of the former, I think, board members, right, or just executives.
Also, hold on, guys, we're getting to the good part. Lastly, as set forth in the letter, our firm will be filing a new case on behalf of Nextbridge against certain defendants alleging torturous interference with the Oro Grande lease.
Are you saying, did he put torturous?
What?
Yeah,
he did not put torturous.
Well, tortious.
Yeah.
Interference.
But
we have to call it torturous, okay?
Right, but somebody said torturous, on
why?
Twitter.
Why would the Oro Grande assets have anything to do with Why would that Oro Grande assets have anything to do with
and
material?
that's what that's a bold strategy, Cotton, to say that somebody else, like when the company owes like well over $1 million in royalties, when they, there's so many, like there's a numerous,
they've
like,
drilled and gotten nothing.
Right. There's plenty of reasons for University Lands to have canceled that lease. And it has nothing to do with what anyone has said on Twitter. But yeah, that's a bold strategy to say that the pro se litigants are part of that.
Yep. So that's that. And then we have
this is the letter.
Exhibit D, which is
this is the letter to Lovato's attorney.
Yep. And he's saying that
this was his original, like, it's not a conflict of interest letter.
Well, so he is responding. So he's actually responding to emails that were sent to the trustee from some concerned shareholders about the conflict of interest that they see happening in front of their eyes.
In the filing of an ethics complaint that one of the litigants sent to the bar.
If someone is suing a company and then someone like West Christian sends them
who has his
cease
hands
and desist.
Well, no, like a preservation request.
Oh yeah, preservation request. And I don't know what the entire preservation request entailed, but the way they made it sound like it, because I briefly read it, was that it was for just about anything for no specific time period that was dealing with
to 2018.
To 2018, which is so dumb. And obviously, it wasn't attached to any lawsuit or any laws broken or any claims whatsoever. So
just
in my
preserve
opinion,
these documents because I say so.
Yeah.
Well, it was just sent to harass and intimidate, in my opinion. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's like
whatever. And it was sent out to a shotgun number of people all across
in Twitter DMs.
Yeah.
Well, some people got Twitter DMs. Some people got 3 different letters. Some people got a letter in the mail. They got a certified letter, and they also got something from FedEx that they had to sign too. So, and then other people just got Twitter DMs. But
and we know that he sent them. The ones we can confirm that he sent them to. We know he sent them to Puzzled Raccoon. We know that it was sent to
a lot of people.
Sent them
probably
to
like
Puzzle.
20
like,
people.
What the?
Brian, Ramen,
like a lot of random people that you wouldn't even really like. You're like, what?
But what he's trying to claim, what he's trying to claim, by the way, is that what they have said on Twitter is partially to blame for the SEC and FINRA, or I think it's FINRA, right? Not approving their current S1 for them to sell 40 million shares.
As if they have some sort of influence over that.
Right. Like something that they have said on Twitter.
That's a total statutory decision made by either FINRA or the SEC.
Yeah.
Well, he takes issue with individuals who attempt to falsely create an apparent conflict for nefarious purposes. The perpetrators, along with their other co-conspirators.
Perpetrators.
Right. Are attempting
that
to
should be
obstruct.
I would just take that letter, fax it, and send it in addition to the bar complaint, because if you're going to already insinuate that I'm doing some sort of criminal activity with zero fucking evidence, I will fax that to the Texas bar as well.
Yeah.
Right. Jennifer, are you listening?
Like,
I'm pretty sure Jennifer can figure it out on her own.
Clearly.
I've seen her.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay. Are attempting to obstruct, impair, and derail our legal cases against market manipulators. What legal cases against market manipulators again? What are they even talking about?
The only thing I can think of that he's talking about there is the Nefarious 9 bullshit.
That they haven't even sent a subpoena to, that he's not even involved with?
Allegedly.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I think it's going to be exactly like the Sorrento thing, where it's going to be like they're going to LARP and pretend that he's going to LARP and pretend he's doing something until the company goes bankrupt. Anything to keep the people that they've got on the hook distracted while he gets paid.
So you mean
it's
like when
$11 million,
Nextbridge
right?
goes bankrupt?
There's $11 million allocated.
Yeah. So he's saying they filed numerous bizarre and incoherent pro se complaints against Meta, NBH, Greg McCabe et al. They filed a grievance against me to the State Bar of Texas, where my record is pristine. Really? If you get like sanctions, does that?
Oh, if you get sanctioned, I don't know if I'd call it pristine.
Right. Okay. Just wondering. Ms. Vetrano's complaint is that I sent an evidence preservation letter that is too aggressive. I'm certain the complaint will be dismissed as it was simply a standard evidence preservation letter and held
I think it's
space
more about who you're
calls.
sending it to.
Who you're sending to, how many you're sending, in the time period, and
the point of it.
It's an intimidation.
Right. Like if you're not even
like, there's no legal basis.
right.
You're sending it
no,
to Twitter DM. So I mean,
and also, you know, they made that announcement like before they announced that they lost their bank account and that they had to redo like 2 years worth of filings, so they'll probably never do filings ever again. I mean, weird timing, right? Like they have plenty of money to pay a lawyer, but they don't have enough money to fucking do a 10K. Anyways.
but like, I mean, like, keep going because it gets better.
Right. So they also, well, how dare they?
They held space calls.
And the perpetrators
tweets
have held space. Look at them coping.
They held space calls and distributed tweets on X and other platforms attempting to obstruct and impair our team by having us deal with perpetrators' false accusations.
All the foregoing actions are intended to obstruct our efforts on behalf of Meta to hold all people and entities responsible for destroying the market value. Right, that's it. Okay. Of the securities of
the pro se litigants who are shareholders are responsible for destroying the market value.
Yeah. And I don't necessarily agree with like their pro se filings. They're kind of on legally shaky ground. He's right.
They're shareholders.
Like trying to like paint these people who are shareholders of the company as trying to destroy and take down the company. It's just so comically hilarious.
To, you know, use the bankruptcy courts to do whatever the fuck he's doing.
The pro se litigants are shielding for the very people we are pursuing. What?
You're speaking out against the cult, therefore you must be an enemy of the cult.
Yeah. So he's trying to say that there is no potential or actual conflict of interest based on their firm concurrent representation of metamaterials. As you're aware.
Okay, go ahead.
So he said that he advised that he would not represent Mr. McCabe individually in any manner. As you advised me that Meta might be investigating potential claims against him.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. There's a nugget in here.
Because
there's a nugget in here where he talks about, so if you go down, I advised you I was representing Nextbridge in the defamation business, blah. So if you go down to like the 4th page, if you keep going down to almost the end, is this the end? No. Keep going.
That's page 4 right here.
Keep going.
Oh, page 4 of his email.
Okay. Okay.
This one?
There. Stop. So we are aware that the trustee for Meta is investigating one or more potential avoidance actions in the future against Mr. McCabe. If that occurs, we will not be representing Mr. McCabe. In the event that the trustee also opts to pursue any similar actions against Nextbridge, Christian Tatar will withdraw from representation of Nextbridge in the pro se lawsuits and other matters for which it is investigating potential claims of business. Okay, blah. We've disclosed to Nextbridge Hydrocarbons our need to withdraw if an actual conflict of interest arises regarding a claim filed by the trustee against Nextbridge based on Christian Tatar's concurrent representation with Meta.
If I'm reading behind the lines here, he says
let's talk about what case the trustee would be filing against Greg McCabe. So we know that there was a 20
because Yeah, exactly. The loan, exactly.
There was a $10 million loan that got written down.
That's exactly it.
Because the trustee's job is to claw back money. So if we think about what she would be pursuing against McCabe or Nextbridge, how is that not a conflict in and of itself? The fact that you know that, and that you probably told them that the trustee's looking.
Oh yeah,
because he says here, he says, put simply, we cannot imagine what claim Meta would ever have against Nextbridge Hydrocarbons. It simply does not exist. So
well, of course you'd say that because you're representing them.
Interest. Well, I'm just saying, in a letter about a conflict of interest, you're talking about something that the trustee might pursue that she hasn't even pursued yet. And in the same breath saying, there's no conflict of interest of me being on the Metamaterials bankruptcy case and this.
If I was the judge on this, I'd have some serious questions about this affidavit at the next hearing. Because this, so he's removing himself from the pro se cases. Even though he said there was no conflict of interest, but he'd leave if one appeared to be happening, which seems like while there is none at this time, that they're going to go ahead and go after Nextbridge, and that once we hear
that's something that was, I think that was just something that was floated, right? So but he's already the filing of this. This is just the exhibit of the letter to the attorney. The filing that came with this is that he is removing himself from representing Nextbridge in the pro se cases.
Right.
Yeah.
After he already
said if they did pursue those things, a conflict of interest would exist, and he'd have to remove himself.
So this thing is 200 something pages. So he included.
He included
Jen's complaint.
This is what he included here.
She emailed him about it. I mean, you can go through this stuff if you want, but he included all kinds of stuff. He includes all the cases.
I can tell that this was fax scanned because man, oh man, that fidelity on that
facsimile.
Yeah, the image quality.
The clarity is not as good as your 720p.
Yeah, pretty much.
I think I have better clarity than the text on that. And then so there was an email exchange back and forth.
She emailed him saying, I find
she has concerns about it, which of course she does. I mean, hello, this is crazy.
Yeah.
And good for her. If she sees a problem and she says something about it, good. That's what you should do. She's not just bitching into the vortex on Twitter.
This is like an episode. This is like an impromptu episode of Lawyers Behaving Badly. You should go listen to that podcast.
Yeah. Then he attaches Danielle. And then he attaches Danielle Spears' case here.
Look, but they are both named, right? But then he's saying that he represents Nextbridge, and then Greg has his own lawyer.
Yes, and he does. He puts in there what McCabe's other lawyers. But I still even if he has other lawyers, how you're still and let's talk about how Nextbridge Hydrocarbons is literally Greg McCabe and one other person.
Literally.
So how are you not defending him? It's not, there's not a bunch of executives and a board or anything. It's two people
part-time.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
Which is pretty silly in and of itself too. So that pretty much covers that. The spicy tea spilling when it comes to metamaterials, which, oh my goodness, that has been.
And one day those subpoenas will be served. Not today, but maybe one day.
Is it going to be like the subpoenas that are saying?
I mean, according to Junk Savvy, there's already so much happening with those subpoenas that nobody has seen.
I didn't see. Hey, you can check the docket again. Hey, Platinum, have you seen a return of service on any of those subpoenas on the docket?
No.
He checks it every Junk Savvy checks it every single time she has her show, and she still is talking about motions to quash and all kinds of things that
they don't sound like a return of service.
Usually come after. an affidavit of service.
Yeah. If you make a motion, like that's the subpoena process. You make a motion because the other parties that are already on the case can object to it. And then once it's cleared and the court approves it, then you still have to serve that. So like,
also,
if there's no return of service on that, then
let's preserve this for the record.
It hasn't been sent out. It's
hold on. Can we just real quick?
Oops, sorry. I thought I grabbed yours. I grabbed mine.
Here, I'll do it again.
One sec. There we go.
Okay, so like for the record, George is making a bunch of these claims here that he has a logbook of discussions with over 100 relevant oil and gas parties. This is about share intel. Apparently, he's saying that they had a report, but they denied him access or whatever. And then
I think it's weird that nobody has ever seen share intel data.
Right. Although he's saying that he did. He reviewed the findings in November 2023. But
then like the Meta, like didn't the Meta board say
they responded that that's final, and they
chose not to. They were like, no, we're not doing that.
Whatever the fuck. They asked Mr. West Christian to not speak to him regarding the spoofing case. Emmet funded these engagements with West Christian. Well, actually, technically, they didn't pay him because Share Intel was a creditor in the bankruptcy, so they didn't quite. Recent subpoenas confirm, active efforts. So how do we? Recent subpoenas confirm active efforts are underway. Yeah. All right. He doesn't control the Share Intel data. And then he says he's the largest Emmet shareholder. But as far as I can tell, he hasn't even filed a proof of interest. Which is interesting, right? Because Greg McCabe was one of the first people to
file. Like the second one to file, correct?
Yeah. So yeah, I just want to put that on the record.
Gotta get on it.
Yeah. Well, moving on to our next I've got a surprise one. This one some of our special listeners already know about. I have some pure unadulterated cringe. Are you guys ready? Let's buckle in for some pure unadulterated cringe.
I'm nervous. Oh God.
Sound design of this video makes me cry and laugh at the same time.
Is there supposed to be sound?
Yeah, is there supposed to be sound? Because I don't hear anything. Just silence.
You don't hear anything?
Yeah.
Really? Because I hear it.
Nope.
Luckily, we do not hear
anything. Weird.
No sound.
Luckily, you don't hear it.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sad about it.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Weird. Let me try something. You're not exactly sad about it?
I feel okay about it.
Okay. That's weird because it says that that's working.
Still no sound.
That's oh my goodness.
Oh, there it is.
It's working now.
Oh God. Cringer.
Turn it down. Oh, the cringe part isn't even here yet. You have no idea. Maybe you do.
No, I have not seen this.
Cheers.
The crossroads of America are under attack. Patriotism is lost. You know, a VO over this would have made it much better. I don't know, maybe worse.
Yeah.
There it is.
He's a Hoosier, but he went to Ball State. Isn't like Indiana University? Aren't they the Hoosiers?
Rap shit is mine, motherfucker.
True, he did. He went to Ball State.
Let's pause just for a second with the dramatic movie music.
Is that like DMX in the background? What even is that?
That is DMX in the background.
Oh
It
my
is.
God, stop it.
It is.
I'm upset.
That's awesome.
We need to talk Hoosiers. Again, he went to Ball State.
Fuck me to get it on your own. It's gonna deliver to you. Not open up the door.
Like, why are we hanging on this?
Stainless steel. Go hard, get busy with it. I got such a good
Legacies.
heart. I make the motherfucker one day if you get. Damn right. And I do it again. Cause I am like so I got
Oh God, with the legacy shit. First he was a legacy hacker. Now he's a legacy Hoosier.
I don't know what this legacy is supposed to be.
He claimed. I can tell you in a minute. It's just like dragging.
Yeah, why is this so slow?
It's like skipping.
This like drags on forever. Like, why?
That. I mean, we probably don't need to see the rest.
Prepare
Probably good.
yourselves.
Yeah, so his when he was claiming to be like a white hat, gray hat hacker, said he was trying to claim that he comes from a like long line of hackers. He's a legacy. He used to be called Oracle or whatever other fucking delusions of grandeur he makes up. Like the guy has like, I mean, I don't even know if it's like, I mean, it's definitely a personality disorder. I don't know if it's like split or like he literally just like makes shit up and he's like, this has been my life, my whole life.
So what's he running on? Yeah. Like, does he have any policies in mind?
Well, he also believes
he
he's like taking down Elon Musk in some way on Twitter. So.
Yeah, he's got his whole new Twitter account for his campaign again, and I find it hilarious that he thinks that his old garbage is not going to get dug up, especially since he's using his burner accounts to help pump his fucking campaign nonsense.
Yeah, but we already know like anyone's dirt literally does not matter, right? Like I think we already know that.
Well, you're a Republican.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. No one cares. Great. Good luck to him then, but I guess.
I also the other thing is like there's got to be other actual legitimate candidates running for a United States federal
what state is he in?
seat.
Well, I'm pretty sure he said
Indiana.
The person he said he was running against or something like that. Is she a senator? I can't remember. Like he's saying that he's running for Congress, but then he listed like I don't know. Whatever. Good luck.
Good luck to him.
Yeah. It's just he's gonna need more than luck.
Really? I mean he'll be signing shit he doesn't understand and posting it on Twitter before we know it. That's how much mortgage fraud.
Not the only
opposition research should be interesting for whoever it is.
I'm sure they'd have a field day if he even became a candidate, but I don't think that anyone's going to have to really.
I don't know. Is it a requirement to have all your teeth to run for Congress, or you only have to just have to have half? Or?
Well, he's not the only clown. I have to give some run in on this. So I don't think we need to listen. Well, maybe we should, because there's a claim in here that I asked for a citation needed, but let's get into it.
What is this?
Hello, my name is Today we're publishing a very important video. This is an AMC's project.
Oh God.
Popcorn scheme that has affected over quote-unquote 4 million retail and 8% of their investments. We have been making progress.
Was
There's
that
so much more to
Ethan?
do. And now with critical opportunity for you to get involved, we have a chance to meet
Yes, it is.
with
That's
Congressman in
definitely
Washington, D.C.
Ethan. I can't hear anything, Corex.
Me neither, but I like it.
Directly to
So
those
I'm just not going to say
We need to-
anything.
Yeah, I don't need to hear him, so that's fine.
I think we're
Heard
good
enough
there.
from
That's
him
all I-
today.
Because, oh my goodness. So he was talking about this on the AMC zone. This whole of
Now we can barely hear you.
Escape.
I said,
Huh?
now we can barely hear you.
Oh my god.
No, you're okay.
What the heck?
Oh, you can hear him?
Okay.
Is it just me?
Yeah,
maybe?
he's good.
Okay. I know that there was some shuffling around with my mic there, so
Yeah,
I
you're good.
wanted to make sure. Okay. So yeah, Ethan had been promoting his Project Popcorn nonsense videos over there on that site, and on a subreddit called AMC Zone that SouthSync runs. That's basically the AMC people that have escaped the crazy train, both crazy trains, not just the still believing in AMC, but the Ethan cult Project Popcorn nonsense. And he was constantly getting, like, it wasn't just me. Everyone was freaking roasting him because he's an absolute clown. And so we asked him, like, okay, you've got this meeting. Who is it? And he wouldn't tell us who. Like, it wasn't even like I was going to call the senator or congressman and ask to confirm. It was just like, who is it? Like, he wouldn't give that. And then he was like, oh, it's Sean Tabor. It's like, dude, stop being a fucking. So he did his normal stick where he just insults people because, he's a fucking dickhead who's been to prison several times. And then I figured that was the end of that. And then I get a message from Manuel that apparently they're in the space that Goldbee normally does every, almost every Saturday, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Roughly that he had popped in to shoot off his mouth, and I didn't even hear that. I just popped in to like shoot the shit for a bit, and then he comes in, and oh my goodness, it was the most cringiest cringe fest. Like, he has this obsession that every time he comes into like any space like this or anything on Twitter, that somehow he's like it's in court, and like I have to answer him or other people have to answer him, and he always asks in the form of a question. If you want, like, it's so dumb. It like when he was talking about what I had filed with the court of Delaware, he's like, well, that's not what. It's like, what part of it did you have a problem with? You don't need to play this 21 fucking questions game. We're in the real world here. We're not in some fantasyland court. And then he started asking stuff about the AMC thing. Like, any of his bullshit soft-sit nonsense matters. The only like I said in that space call, the only thing that matters is that the company is insolvent. Like, its free cash flow is negative, and it has more liabilities than assets. So it has to steal from shareholders in order to keep the company
I'll tell you, he
afloat.
originally came into that space to confront South. That's what he was doing. That's what he was doing.
Okay, go ahead and give us the
Well, that's how it started.
Go ahead and
It started with
Because someone sent me a message and was like, Ethan's in here losing his mind. And so I came in to listen because I was at work, and he was screaming at South.
About?
So that's how it started. I think about this meeting he has with Congress, and he's like, or with a congresswoman or whatever. And he was saying, that he's CC'd on some emails, and South was like, okay, who is it? And he didn't want to say who it was, and, blah, blah, blah. So he's just screaming at South. And then, of course, he's noisy Korax. That's all because he's weirdly obsessed with noisy.
yeah, because even when I'm not there, he's fucking
Always.
obsessed with me. Like,
So-
like he says I'm obsessed with him. It's like, no, you're just a clown that I laugh at. You're the one who's obviously obsessed with me
Right.
because he can't in all the spaces he holds, he has to talk about me. It's fucking hilarious.
Yeah, and so, but yeah, he was. That's how it kind of started, and then you came in, and of course, that was a whole other thing.
Yeah, I got
really what he's mad about is, I guess, I don't know. I haven't heard this before, but I guess Noisy filed something in the Allegheny case. Like, this was new information to me, that he is very upset about. And
yeah, because it made him look like a clown in front of the court, but he's a clown. So,
well, what was the filing? Because I thought we did know.
It was in opposition to
the filing was one of three things. One, that, well, it was one of like 3 or 4 things. One was that, you know, he was complaining about the postcard notes, that thing he always was bitching about at that time. And my 2 points on that was, one, the postcard notice doesn't matter to him as a pro se litigant, because obviously he's filing shit onto the Delaware Court of Chancery. So, point, no one cares. As to anyone else dealing with the case, point 2, he's pro se, so he can't represent anybody. So as far as the postcard notice, he needs to just shut the fuck up and go away. Third, as to trying to hold things up because of the postcard notice, that's not how Delaware courts work, and I gave the citations, the reasons. And then the fourth was that if he's going to continue to waste the court's time, the court should sanction him, which I think was pretty reasonable at the time. And I felt
said, like, he just did it to oppose Ethan, right? Like, just to call him out for his bullshit on the record. And Ethan is having some trouble with accepting that people have the right and free will to do whatever they want to do. He's like, how many shares do you own, and how much did it cost you to file and serve, and like,
I heard him say that.
Just like, he's
which is all irrelevant stuff. Like, I don't think he understands
probably run Corey's
that
campaign.
spending $50 just to fuck with him is worth it. That's like fucking with him is my entertainment, because you can rattle his cage really easy, because he's a fucking snowflake. It's funny how all these like far right people are like, oh, all these big bad liberal snowflakes are the biggest fucking pussies. Like, you offend them in the slightest and they go,
it's just like, it's MMTLP people who,
it's hilarious. I love fucking with him for that reason
MMTLP
alone.
People who just like attack you for your looks when they can't argue. Like, Ethan is like, bet me money, because he doesn't have any. But then says, like, that was the other my face thing. Or I'm gonna beat you up, or who was the one who was like, let's box? Oh, Bam. That they're all the same.
Bam. Yeah, scam investor.
They are all the same.
You can't defend your position.
What I find funny about the whole Ethan one is, but the funny thing about the whole bet thing is, this isn't the first time he's done that. Wasn't he? Didn't he do the same thing when people were asking about his credentials in the financial industry?
Like, let's bet. And then, like, you put the money up, and then I'll show the emails. That's not really a bet.
No.
You're just asking him to pay you.
Yeah. And second of all,
you're asking him to pay you to see your shit. And you make the claim, you have to prove it, or you have to accept that nobody's going to believe you.
Yeah.
And, like, I get that you're a full-time activist, and that doesn't really pay the bills. So I guess you just have to go on
full-time unemployed
try
loser.
to bet people for shit.
Which was the funniest part about that, because if you know it's true anyway, just show it. Like, that was the argument I kept going to, and he didn't like that because he knows it doesn't exist.
Well, like Dave was saying, and I absolutely agree with, like, let's not pretend like you're going to get invited to some meeting where they have to do a background check on you, or that you can pass a background security check. Like, let's not pretend. Let's not pretend that you weren't just in
Mr. 19
Rikers
or 18
Island
counts
for
of
6 months. Like,
stalking.
give me a fucking break, bro. Let's stop pretending you're not who you are.
Yeah, the guy,
and that you're going to hold some position.
The guy
in meeting with Congress.
He said he's only been arrested 7 times. So,
wow.
Imagine saying
That's
only
7
been
more
arrested
times than most of us.
Like, okay.
I've never been arrested, so
yeah, me neither.
But like and I can't remember who was saying it. Maybe you, Noisy. Like, somebody who he like didn't someone, he called and left a message for someone, and then they called him back and was like, "Yeah, I looked you up. I won't be talking to
Yeah,
you."
well, here what happened is he called the Kansas. Remember, we played the video on stream where he called the Kansas Department of Insurance and Securities guy, and they had probably told him to go talk to the SEC. We're a state regulator. Why the fuck are you coming to us? And then he called back again, and the guy's like, "Yeah, dude, I've looked you up. You do this to a whole bunch of other people. Fucking leave me alone." It's like I was telling him in that stream. You think that people can't look up what a scumbag you are? You're all over the place. It's not hard to find.
Which is what I'm saying. So like,
You've made it
anywhere
real easy
that
to
like
find.
any meeting he is like being CC'd on a couple of emails like is not proof of your meeting with a congressperson.
Yeah.
It's just proof that you attach yourself to something.
Also and also in the middle of that, that spurred fit, which is I think part of the reason that he came back was because I heard here's the timeline. So the thing happened with South Sync and him talking shit. Then I heard about it. Then I went and kind of did a bear bait over on Discord, and then brought that back, which is probably what brought him into the space the second time, where he basically has apparently some sort of anti-Jewish conspiracy dealing with the
So I think
the gays
he's talking
and the
about.
pedos,
Is he talking about Adam Aaron there?
I think he's just talking in general, like these far right lunatics.
See, I thought he
always
was
do.
because I mean Nelson or Willis Nelson, whatever.
Because he uses plural. It can't be Adam Aaron because he uses the pedos and the Jews.
I feel like that might be on
plural.
purpose, but I do feel like he's talking because Adam Aaron is Jewish and
he had the ballerina.
Well, so like I feel like he may be talking about Adam Aaron there. Because he thinks you were like
it's also
he
the
thinks
same
you were like pro Adam Aaron and like I don't know, whatever else. As if we haven't called him out.
And also the funny thing about it that was really was like when I called him an Uncle Tom for being a Jewish guy, using Jew as a slur while calling Jews this pedophile conspiracy he was talking about.
Either that or that's he's just hanging out with
well, he's hanging out with people like number one cuck John Hartronet and Scam Investor, who also share these same ideals and thoughts. Like, what was it John said, where he's like, well, where he basically, and I'm paraphrasing, said, well, I used to think Jews were bad, but then I met people like Ethan. So these are people already down this pipe hole. And of course you've got, so I called him an Uncle Tom basically. And he comes back, he's like, Jewish, oh, well, I'm a Danish Jew. That's different.
Ethan is Jewish.
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I called him an Uncle Tom, and he's like, "Oh, I'm different. I have a Danish heritage." It's like, you think it's different to these like the people like Bam and John that you're like you think it's different that they care? Like the minute that they don't think you're useful, you'll get the bullet too. Like, look at what happened to Adam Aaron. Look what's already starting to happen with Ryan Cohen. We talked about in previous episodes with what was it, Philosopher and his like anti-Semitic rants. Just you wait. When you stop being useful to them, they'll call you a Jew and throw you into the gas chamber too. Like this. No, I'm talking about any of them. Once they find out that you're other. Well, it's a lot of them. Like all of them practically. Like what's left with a lot of these meme stock cults is just the worst of the worst. Let's be honest. Like the reason we're talking about Ethan is because he's literally one of the worst of the worst. So like
it's the leftovers.
The leftovers of the shitheads.
Most people figured it out already.
Yeah. I'm trying to find out if there was any more meme stock stuff that I had. Is there any other meme stock stuff you guys had while I try and see if there's any refuse left to dig up before we go to our last couple main topics on the backswing?
Well, I mean, sort of meme stock adjacent. I got a pre-order for a Switch 2. So
let's go.
I went to GameStop, like literally 3 hours before they opened and waited in line with people. Right, I was like maybe the fifth person in line, but it was actually pretty fun. Like people who line up for releases for games and stuff are usually like pretty chill, right? And like
oh yeah, I've done it once.
Yeah,
it's
like
fun.
well, I don't think I've ever done it before, but like the first person he was like handing out waters. I brought my Switch with me, so I was like playing Mario Kart in line, and the people next to me were playing with me too. So it was like pretty fun actually to like hang out, and then I got it. So
okay. Oh, so is this like so
it's a pre-order,
this is the pre-order,
right? So
right?
I'll have to go back on June 5th to
Okay.
get it, but I'm guaranteed.
Mhm.
And online was sold out like so fast.
Oh my God, we were in line and I was trying to order it
Oh, I bet.
online while I was in the line, and the website was just crashing over and over, and then it just said unavailable. And it was like that though for like everywhere, not just GameStop. It was like that everywhere. So yeah, and the employees, of course, were super nice. They're always awesome. The employees are always cool there.
Wait a second. Ken Griffin bought Spirit?
Mm-hmm. Wait, what? Where are you getting this from?
Not a
I was about to
reputable
talk about him, but
look it up. So well, it's tagged with market manipulation. It says Ken Griffin buys Spirit Airlines after the company files bankruptcy. Now Ken Griffin's Spirit Airline is set to go public on April 29th under the ticker FLYY.
That doesn't sound right, because they did a pre-packaged bankruptcy where the creditors were.
Let's look it up.
Oh yeah, where it's like pre-set up and everything.
Yeah.
So
hold on. He did.
Oh really?
Spirit to exit bankruptcy. Billionaire Ken Griffin Citadel among buyers. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So Spirit Airlines is on track to emerge from Chapter 11 bankruptcy thanks to the private takeover of multi-billionaire bondholders like Ken Griffin Citadel Advisors.
Oh, so he was a bondholder.
Hold on. And they're going to take it public. It's going to trade on the New York Stock Exchange.
Well, if you got it, you want to pull it up really quick and we can.
Yeah, they already emerged in March.
Let me find.
So maybe he bought it after they came out of bankruptcy and just on a take public.
Let me find one that's not stuck behind a paywall here. 1 second.
We're going to teach you about the archive, the way of archive.today.
Or archive.is.
I used to use archive.io. I'm sure it's all the same place, but apparently that one got nerfed.
When did this news come out? You go on with what you're doing. I'll let you know if I find it.
Okay. Well, I'm going to move on to other things here. So I was going to move on to our main topic for the evening. I found something kind of interesting. It's going to lead. It's going to. I want to lead with it because it's a great transition from baggy segment to real segment, because of the character involved with this one. Oh my goodness.
Okay, I found one. Hold on. So it's not just Ken Griffin then. It's it is going to trade. The new symbol is going to be fly with 2 Y's.
So FLYY. Okay.
Alrighty then.
Well, speaking of Ken Griffin, transfer into our other segment here.
In particular, have seen a lot of volatilities about dysfunction. Market, what is that doing to the American brand?
Well, okay, you actually picked exactly the right word. The American brand. Right? The United States was more than just a nation. It's a brand. It's a universal brand.
This is lagging. Real bad.
Whether it's our culture,
Yeah, it's barely
financial
playing.
strength, our military strength, and
Okay, so I want to ask, like, so MJL, right? Possible too. It is
Possible
MJL
if you
what?
think your behavior as a consumer, how many times do you buy a brand because you
for it to
trust
come
that
back,
brand?
and I'll tell you why.
Of course it is.
It was sold to. I mean,
Oh,
it
you're
was
talking about
the
this?
bondholders own it. It was take private. Yep. So it was
Mhm.
taken private, and the bondholders got it, and now they are going to IPO it. That is not what happened with BBBY, and it's not what's going to happen with BBBY. So, like, if BBBY had gone the way that Spirit did, where bondholders took it over in a take private deal, then yeah, it can happen.
Yeah, shares were still canceled though, so equity holders still got nothing for Spirit.
Correct. Equity holders got nothing for Spirit. It will IPO. Former equity holders will not get any benefit from that. If they
Ever.
want to own Spirit, they'll have to buy it on once it IPOs again.
Mm-hmm.
There's no the former shareholders or equity holders of the old Spirit will
They
get
can
nothing.
claim their losses on their taxes. That's what they got.
They will get nothing from it IPOing again.
But Corex,
So,
this quality is absolute garbage.
Yeah, the video's not playing.
What? Well,
The
that's
video's
because I
not playing.
paused it.
No,
Yeah.
even
No.
when it was playing, it wasn't playing.
Really? Was the audio still working?
Barely.
Barely. It was like
It was
Oh my
lagging.
goodness. Well, then
real
we'll
bad.
just kind of dump it. We'll just move on. So I don't know what
Okay.
the heck is going on there. Well, I can bring back up the other like tabs, but like, gotcha, audio.
I mean,
like
I
video
can play
not
it
work.
if you want me to.
Yeah, I
Just
mean,
send
you
it
know
to
what the
me.
clip is pretty much.
Can you just like send it like in the private chat
Yeah.
over here or somewhere?
Yeah.
Or wait, is it
Sure.
here? Oh no, wait, where is it?
Let me find it here. We're a professional outfit. Just trust me. Very professional. I'll dump it on the Discord.
What is it? What is he talking about?
Well, Ken Grove is basically talking about how because of the whole destabilization because of the tariff situation is damaging America's brand in the U.S. Treasury market because it's causing all sorts of instability. And if that American Treasuries or the American financial market in general can be trusted because of how swashbuckling the president is being right now.
I mean, you can see that just in the Treasury auctions. I mean, there was almost like no foreign buyers in the one last week.
Here, tell me if this
The markets are, obviously not liking what they're hearing. Treasuries, in particular, have seen a lot of volatility and worries about dysfunction in the market. What is that doing to the American brand?
Well, okay, you actually picked exactly the right word. The American brand, right? The United States was more than just a nation. It's a brand. It's a universal brand. Whether it's our culture, our financial strength, our military strength, America rose beyond just being a country. It was like an aspiration for most of the world. And we're eroding that brand right now. And if you think of your behavior as a consumer, how many times do you buy a product with a brand on it because you trust that brand? You know you could buy like a similar dress with no name for less money, but you want the dress that you think is going to not fall apart in 2 weeks. You want the handbag that you think is well made. You want the television that you know that when you turn it on, it's going to work perfectly. You want the car that when you turn the engine on, it's going to run. And when it comes to money management, for example, there are many great American institutions whose the power of their brand, that they will deliver a fair service at a fair price, that they'll do well by their investors and put their investors' interests first, whether it's a BlackRock or Fidelity. These are global brands of immense power. But in the financial markets, no brand compared to the brand of the U.S. Treasuries. U.S. Treasury market, the strength of the U.S. dollar and the strength, the creditworthiness of U.S. Treasuries. No brand came close. We put that brand at risk. And as you and I both know, it can take a very long time to remove the tarnish on a brand. So the president and the Secretary of Treasury and the Secretary of Commerce need to be very thoughtful that when you have a brand, you need to behave in a way that respects that brand, that strengthens that brand. Because when you tarnish that brand, it can be a lifetime to repair the damage that has been done.
All right.
Yeah, and on that front, this was is it not? It's just being really laggy. I think it's just because I'm on my laptop, and I'll need to remedy that hopefully next time. But this was a scoop. Charles Gasparini. Yeah, I think he had two, basically along these lines, that before any of these tariff measures have been going through or what will be done, and this one with India, that basically Trump has gone to Wall Street. And there's two ways that you can look at it, depending on how you want. Since we've already, as we talked last week, had a problem with what looks like or could be perceived or potentially just straight up is insider trading, that it seems like it's along those lines, or that because things are become so unstable, he's basically having to pace out ahead of time what sort of, like, because we've been getting mixed signals on this anyway from every sort of policy, like what has been like that the tariffs are going to be this or that there's negotiations going on or there isn't. And it just feels like there's no coherent policy, which has really been an entire problem with the situation right now. And it just kind of goes back to what we were talking with earlier. I wanted to bring up the other video, but I don't think we really need it. And it's basically Ken O'Leary shilling for the tariffs and thinking that the China tariffs should go higher, which is kind of silly. I think he said it was like they need to go to 200%, which best of luck with that.
Weren't they already 100% from Biden?
25 or
and then
yeah,
like an extra, 100 and whatever percent from Trump now. So isn't that 200?
Yeah, well, I mean,
it is chaotic though. It is very chaotic and annoying. And like I feel like you can't really make any decision in the market right now because everything can change, with one tweet. If 5 minutes later, it's
pretty much,
you never know.
Which is interesting. I was actually just reading about this guy who tagged you in the 144.
What's that?
For Doug.
What 144?
Oh yeah, the form 144.
Yeah, his intent to sell. I mean, he's selling 335,000 shares.
Yeah, he's getting $13 million.
Yeah, out of his 8.6 million. Wait, is that right? 8.6 million shares. Like, yeah, a lot of people are selling and getting their money, putting some money, taking some off the table.
Dinner's on Doug next show night.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with selling your shares after,
Yeah, for sure.
Tremendous earnings and
especially given the run up
it's when you're selling.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Well,
there's nothing wrong with an insider selling, their shares. It's when somebody like Adam Aaron and the boys and girls sell $1 billion worth of their shares at the height of the stock. And now the stock's trading for $2.
Well,
insiders sell their stock all the time.
Now,
yeah, but when Ryan Cohen did it, they didn't understand what a Form 144 was. So
Yeah.
personally, I was pretty impressed and proud of them for even knowing what that was now.
I mean, like, it's always like some gotcha. Like, Jesus Christ.
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
Do you need my help on playing this one? Or
so one other thing that I wanted. Well, we'll see here real quick.
Okay.
If not, it's already in the Discord. I can show you which one it is. But this one was a one done by Gamers Nexus that I thought was really good. He kind of went to a bunch of different tech companies and asked them questions about the tariffs. And there were two segments I wanted to pull out of it that I think is really good for understanding things that maybe viewers don't know. Go watch the whole video. I know it's really long. It's almost 3 hours, but we're not going to do the full 3 hours. But there's some good stuff.
Right. One of the major counterpoints to all of this is why not make it in America?
Here's how I got
Oh my God! I thought I had ad blocker.
actually liked it.
I guess not.
oh my goodness.
Over right away. Onboarding was seamless, and now every little detail of our pipeline.
So
guess I don't have
CyberPower,
ad
which
block
actually
on
already
that.
does build the computers in America, in California. In fact, that's the only place they build them, and they have hundreds of employees who do it. Now, CyberPower assembles computers.
Let me get this. Oh shit! Actually, we're just.
Okie dokie.
Again. If Discord will load up. Up to the first one, 1750-ish.
Okay.
17 minutes, 50 seconds. I'll tell you where the other one is.
All right. 1 sec.
Yeah.
1750. Oh, whoops. Hold on. Okay.
Okay, what? I mean,
Is that working?
MJL, like, where did the entitlements disappear to?
Hold on.
The shares are coming back. Where do the entitlements disappear to? What does that mean?
Hold on, it's playing in the wrong Chrome. 1 sec.
No problem.
17.
Normally, I'd have this much more professionally done, but oh well. All right. Let me pull it up, and then I'll. Come on.
Right,
Click
yeah.
the-
One of
click
the
the
major
little thing.
counterpoints to
Thank you.
all
There
of
we go.
this is why not make it in America? We'll start with CyberPower, which actually already does build the computers in America, in California. In fact, that's the only place they build them, and they have hundreds of employees who do it. Now, CyberPower assembles computers. They don't make the components that get assembled into the computers, but this is interesting because when people think of a motherboard factory, they might think the entire board is made in that factory. But in actuality, that factory is just like CyberPower. It's assembling all the parts from over 100 other factories down chain, with typically about 10 to 20 major component suppliers for one motherboard. So really, an SMT line for a motherboard is the same concept as an assembly line for a pre-built PC. They're bringing in parts from lots of other places to put them into a product.
Yeah, I think it starts off with your question, which is like, do we want to make things in America, and how would we go about doing it, right? And that's, of course, a question we think about all the time. We always think about, where we source things. The more we control, the better. But this is just represents one out of like anywhere between 9 to 10 components that make up the basics of a computer. So the first thing we'd have to do is talk to all the manufacturers that make this motherboard and ask them to bring this motherboard production over to America.
Right.
And now, while these companies might bring the motherboard production manufacturer over to America, they don't actually make all the parts that make up this motherboard. There could be anywhere between 10 to 20 other companies that make up these individual parts that are still being made in other countries.
MSI had given me numbers years ago, how many components are on a motherboard, counting all of the tiniest resistors and caps. And on a high-end board, top of my head, it was thousands of components, counting all the smallest ones.
Yeah.
So a lot makes up a motherboard.
Yeah, and so these guys who make these things, they specialize in it. They make just that one thing. And sometimes it's so important that when they have a problem at their factory, all the motherboard companies start having problems. They all source from this one guy in China or wherever. So you'd have to bring all those component manufacturers over as well to bring it to say that it's made in America and avoid the tariff. But once you do that, these guys that make this plastic or this aluminum, they also have to source their raw materials from somewhere else, which then ends up having a tariff as well. So no matter how many companies we bring over to try to complete this ecosystem, this supply chain, somewhere along the line, there's still going to be sources that must be tariffed and made overseas. And then you'd have to bring that entire process all the way up to this, to the final process of us putting this into a computer, all into America. The goal of the tariff was to bring manufacturing back to America, was the argument, right? But at the same time, it is a good goal. It's a goal that we undoubtedly want to achieve. But is this the right way to do it is probably where I would say, no, I don't think that this is the right way to do it. There's other ways to do it. And now that you understand the complexity, and hopefully your viewers understand this huge supply chain and how it works, that they realize that it's not something you could turn on overnight. That's just the main thing. It's achievable, but it requires a lot of people to work together.
Next spot is 1 hour, 25 minutes.
I mean, like it's true. Like U.S. doesn't. There's not a whole lot of manufacturing in the U.S. But like when I hear people talking about this all the time, it's like, where are you going to find, like, who's going to work all these, like, there's only, I think, 7 million Americans unemployed. Like the unemployment, it makes up about 7.
Where are you going to find all the people
who's gonna do all of this? Like, if you you bring it all back here, and who's going to work?
And there was a poll that I saw that was done on this, where they were talking about how they compared the people who were in favor of bringing these jobs back and who would actually want to take these jobs. And it was like, oh yeah, bring all the jobs back to America. And like 25% of them only actually wanted to. There's like rules for thee, but not for me.
Where are you going to find all the workers?
Yeah. Because nobody, not even the people who support the tariffs, want to be in the factory.
Well, yeah, not only that, but like the reason why they're, having them in factories overseas is because what I think the cheapest, the cheapest you can get labor here is like 5 something, I think, or 7 something is like the lowest.
Like minimum wage?
The national average is $7.25.
Where they can pay them like 20 to 50 cents per hour overseas. A lot different.
Where's everybody? Where are all these people coming from?
Yeah. The next individual we met.
This next one is a good friend. Well, not a good friend, but a person I really like, Louis Rossman, and he's about to talk about how because the tariffs amounts and against who and where from keep changing, it makes him as a business person trying to buy supplies for his business. He doesn't know how much he can get when or where, and it really causes all sorts of supply chain instability.
Yeah, it's a mess. I mean, if you follow, so I follow Flexport and like the CEO of Flexport, and he's actually pretty good for that type of information too, because he knows a lot about obviously supply chain. So okay, let's play this.
With is Louis Rossmann, the outspoken right to repair activist, YouTuber, and founder of Rossmann Repair Group. Rossmann Repair is an independent electronics repair shop that moved from New York to Austin, Texas. It also sells hot air stations for soldering and for repair technicians. Louis imports these stations to be sold through his online store and has also dealt with tariffs uncertainty. As one separate heads up for this discussion, Louis uses very colorful language when he talks, just in general. And we're not going to censor it. We're not going to mute it.
Except more so.
Just be aware of that. Have the tariffs impacted your fish food?
Not yet. Although I think they may have to start eating the flies from the top of the pond. They are going to have to. I'm going to notice them eating the flies much quicker because they're going to be much hungrier. Let's see if I can get the fish.
Fish food?
Have they affected anything in your non-work life that you know of?
No, I haven't really gone buying stuff yet.
Yeah.
It's going to. All that stuff is going to happen in 3 to 6 months from now.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I had stock of these already, so it's not like it already happened. And this is an order that I already had placed, so it's not going to affect this one. But the next one is ready.
If you just pause really quick.
Where to even begin with?
I think that's a really good point. Like, most of this tariff stuff, you're not going to see it because the stuff you're ordering now is being put on the boats, and you won't see it hit prices until, you know, or some of these companies already have stock that they've already bought. So until they go through that stock to buy the new stock, you're not going to see the actual effects until months down the line, once people are starting to have to refill orders, or when Platinum needs to get her Switch. or
yeah, that's the other thing. I feel like they're going to increase the price of the Switch after they run out of this inventory that they have now.
I don't feel like
they can do that. Oh, they can. And I think they might.
But yeah, continue on.
At the beginning with tariffs. So I think the first thing to go over is that this started when I moved to Texas from New York. A lot of people would say, you went there to save on taxes. A greedy business owner goes there to save on taxes. And that's not how any of this works. Companies are okay with taxes. And sometimes they're even okay with high taxes. This goes against the narrative that this is like why people move. But it's not about that. It's about the stability. I can deal with a bad regulatory environment if it's stable. If New York is going to charge this much in taxes, or it's going to be this much extra because my employees have to pay high rent, I can put that into my prices and I'm good.
Right.
What I can't deal with is an unstable regulatory environment, an unstable tax environment. Even a bad one is better than an unstable one that's occasionally good. I'm okay with paying these taxes or increased taxes, but it's when you say, we're not really sure how to interpret this law, so give us 1.2 million, that's when I'm out. And with this, if I see a tariff of 20 or 40% one week, 50 to 60 a day later, then I see it 120%. Then I see, well, electronics are maybe exempt, and in Bloomberg, and then I see on Truth Social, no, that's not actually happening. I have no idea what that means, so I can't make decisions because it's not about it being a high tariff. It's about not having a clue what's going on.
What? Let's give some background. What are these?
These are hot air stations. I use a hot air station when I'm performing repairs that allows me to desolder chips off the motherboard. And if you want to buy one in America, I believe the only company you can get it from, correct me if I'm wrong, is Pace. It's somewhere between $1,600 to $1,800. And when I last visited one of the vendors, it says nozzles are not included. So like this, I can sell and be in business for. I can sell this for $200. I am the cheapest in the continental United States selling it. We have the best warranty. It's 2 years, and even if it goes wrong outside of that, we'll replace it for you. And it allows people to get into this job where they wouldn't afford to.
Have you seen a difference yet in what you're paying at the port when they come in?
Well, somebody else receives it and then ships it to me. So I would not be responsible for the tariff because I'm technically not the recipient.
Right.
But the person who does receive it can't tell me what it would cost the next time I place an order. So I could place an order and then he would say, well, we cannot ship you this order unless you pay us again. So for instance, for one of these orders that I was receiving, they were not sure how the rule worked. Does it work based on the date of the invoice? Does it work based on the wire transfer, the date of the wire transfer? Does it work based on when the ship left China? Does it work based on when the ship arrives here? And there are so many things that can change in that time period. So like if I have this here, I can figure out, will somebody pay $400 for this, right? But I am not going to I'm not going to make a $20 or $30 or $40,000 investment on a bunch of stuff that I can't actually sell. I need to figure that out, and I can't figure that out when the rules are changing all the time.
What I guess bring it
enough on
I think it's based on like where it comes out of, right? Because like I did hear that some people.
Well, what he's saying is
trying to like bypass sending it through China.
What I think he's saying is that like he doesn't know what the price is going to be, and neither does the person shipping it to him, because when is it based on, and if so, like say if it's based on when it arrives, well, he could have shipped it and already taken the money for it, and the tariff percentage has changed because Trump has decided it's going to be 60% on China today.
It would be based on where it's exported from, right? Like so.
Right. Well, no, where it's exported from, but what he's saying is like, when is it applied in the process? Is the 60% applied when it arrives? Is it applied when it leaves? Is it when he does the invoicing for it? Because if it's this one day and that tomorrow, well, he has no idea to know when he's placing the order what tariff he's expected to cover on the tax that he's going to be charged, and neither does the person shipping it to him. So it's absolute chaos.
It is chaos. Everything's chaos. Like I don't disagree with that at all. Like the execution of this was absolutely terrible.
Subpar, yeah. But yeah, I just wanted to go over that, and I thought that video was really good because it kind of gives some boots on the ground of people who are actually having to deal with the implementation of this and are trying to fumble their way through all of it. I think
like the color that I use at the salon where I work comes from Canada. So there's like a
the fentanyl tariffs.
Will they or won't they on that as well? So
yeah. The next, moving away from Trump to other Trump adjacent stuff. So you guys do know, I believe it was that Elon is deciding to step away from politics. That he got tired of being made fun of on the internet, and so he's going to step away. But there are some other things that are Musk related, Tesla related, and DOGE related that I wanted to go over. First one is I think we talked about it previously on the last episode, that they had marked down from the like trillions that they were saving taxpayers to the 160 million or 160 billion. Well, it may be even less than that, because a report by Money Watch, CBS News, is saying that actually that $660 billion savings may be taxpayers $107 billion to actually get those cuts.
Oh, losing you.
Are you guys seeing the?
Oh,
yeah,
there you go. What'd you say? Try that again.
Okay, I'm back in. Cool. I don't know why it decided.
Yeah.
It was going to. There we go. For some reason, everything decided laptop is in a bit. Not the. Awesome. 1 second. Cord came loose. Yeah, so the actual 160, right? Yeah, the 160 billion is actually less because you have to subtract the 135 billion cost that it is costing everyone. So that's quick ballpark math. 25 billion is actually being saved, and that's it.
Winning.
And I'm going to go ahead and switch over. Believe correct me. They did report a problem, right? But there was some I actually
Can't hear you.
Do we need to get him a Starlink?
I think so. Can't hear you.
I am on Starlink. Don't even start.
Oh shit.
Yeah, quality product going on here. Yeah, it is Starlink out here. Yeah, well, there you go. I knew this was gonna happen. Elon's cutting me off. We're starting to talk about him. I actually, on this one, I sat down and I talked with our good friend running from Bears on this one.
Oh yeah.
He hasn't been on in a while, but I asked him for this one because I was really curious about this one that was. He was talking about the Bitmark, huh?
That guy hates Tesla. Stanfield.
Yeah, well, yeah. There's a lot of people who do, but I wanted to do some background checking on it with running from Bears, and he had mentioned that he was going to look at it, and he said there was an actual change to how GAAP is reported onto that.
Yeah, there is.
So, yeah. So, I want to see if I can.
Where you have to include your unrealized gains or losses in your income. Your unrealized gains or losses on crypto.
Yeah, because it's mark to market. He says there was some other part of it that he said. So mark to market usually is reserved for things that are traded and liquid, like cash and bonds that move. It's fair to record the changes in the revenue. I get trading Bitcoin in that manner as opposed to a shitcoin. So yeah, there was that.
Oh, that's funny. So they redefined their non-GAAP income to exclude Bitcoin this time.
Yeah.
Well, that's why non-GAAP income is, what is it? What'd you call it? Like bullshit or something?
Yeah. I call. I just call it. Not if it's non-GAAP, it's bullshit. Like non-GAAP, anything is bullshit. That's pretty straightforward on that. And also, the other thing that was brought up is that there was a significant dive in Tesla's car-related revenue due to all the boycotts. Also, that the only reason that it had positive earnings was because of the government credits that originally Trump said he was going to get rid of, and then decided, oops, actually, we're going to keep those. I wonder if that backroom handshake deal worked out all right for him. Although, you never know. Maybe if he hadn't gone and sided with Trump, then the revenue problem wouldn't have been that big of an issue and he would have been fine. But
right. Yeah, I know. Right.
Hard to tell with these sorts of things which way it would bounce. Let me see if I can go back. I knew there was one.
But he is going back to Tesla in May, supposedly.
Oh, yeah. That was the big thing is that he's actually going to be maybe actually doing his job as opposed to LARPing as a politician. So maybe we can, get him to focusing on that. I know that doesn't necessarily mean that he'll do a great job, but, one can hope that, focused on that, maybe we can have Elon. We can have Elon, focus on the thing that he does, business, as opposed to, and maybe he can also spend a little bit of time on how bad X is to still use on the daily.
He won't. Yeah, no, definitely not.
Yeah. So I think the last thing I had was an update. It's not an update. There was some things that were filed by Logan Paul's team as to that lawsuit, but it wasn't anything meaningful. It was just his response to Coffeezilla's objection to the recommendations on the discovery, or as far as the case is concerned. So there's no real it's not really an update other than Logan Paul responded. But I did listen to a video by Legal Bites where she previously last week we talked about how that they'd revealed some of the texts that Logan Paul had said had been talking about, just trying to stick it to Coffeezilla, and that's the whole point of the lawsuit. Also, the point of the lawsuit was to get discovery that they couldn't get in the other litigation on the actual CryptoZoo class action case, and so that Coffeezilla was looking to move it to the other Texas district where the CryptoZoo class action was, and I wasn't quite sure what it was, why they were doing that, other than, you know, that way it's in the same court, maybe the same judge could have, you know, preside over it, so there isn't conflicting rulings or stuff like that. But what she had brought up was, Legal Bites had brought up, was that maybe what they were going for was consolidation of the cases, where the defamation lawsuit becomes part of the class action lawsuit and Logan Paul's counterclaims. And so that was the only real thing that I wanted to add on to that, which would be the most craziest consolidated case. So you have the class action, then you have the defamation claims between Logan Paul and Coffeezilla, and you have Logan Paul suing the other defendants and his own cross claim. That has to be the most convoluted lawsuit that I could possibly imagine.
Well, but doesn't it, I mean, wouldn't that show that, you know, like the things that Coffeezilla said were not actually defamation?
Well, they were wanting it stayed for until they decide whether they're going to move it. But I think what they're saying, that's part of what he's trying to do, is like consolidate.
I mean, like,
wouldn't prove
defamation would have to be false claims, and I don't think anything that
but we need to resolve this before we talk about which is definitely.
Well, I don't think anything that Coffeezilla, like, that he said was false, and you can see that just in the other case.
Also, another thing that she pointed out was that I hadn't noticed was that based on when the defamatory statements were made, the alleged defamatory statements, that it was mere days before they would have lapsed due to statute of limitations. So he like waited till like as least as possible, and you just kind of have to wonder, was there a reason for that? Was this kind of conveniently contrived? But that's the last thing that I kind of wanted to cover real quickly. So we are ready for stupid tweets of
the week. Stole mine, so I'm out on this one.
Oh, you can still.
But I feel like since mine made the show, that I should just win by default.
Just win.
It's so stupid that we had a whole spot on the show for it. I think I have another one. Don't worry.
I would have figured that you'd be expeditious and ahead of the game with multiple, like there's no premium on the stupid shit that's been going on. I have mine. I know what it is, but Platinum, do you have yours locked and loaded already?
I can get one real quick because I have an idea. I mean, Amy, you could probably just go through that account and just find another one.
Well, I mean, I already have it. I usually have a backup, so don't worry. I've got another one.
Okay.
She comes locked and loaded with several rounds in the chamber. All right.
There's no shortage of them.
What I'll do is I'll go ahead. No shortage. There definitely is not.
Oh my God, yeah, I got a good one.
So I have my stupid tweet of the week.
Okay.
So I'll lead with mine. So this is, guys, that I just absolutely love Charles Payne. But how about this epic circle jerk of an MMTLP person, Donald Trump's clumsy praise of Charles Payne, while he clumsily congratulates himself for getting retweeted by the president. Charles Payne of Fox Business, but I guess we're not going to split too many hairs here, is truly fantastic and at what he does, but he doesn't know what he does. So, he understands tariffs and he understands life, but most importantly, he's been supportive of Trump. Really, you could have just gotten straight to the point. That's the only thing you care about, is that he sucks you off right from the beginning, and I'll always be supportive of him. Well, that is indeed what this tweet is about, your mutual blowjob of each other. with that being said, go out and immediately buy his new book, whatever it may be.
Oh my God, he really says that.
He does really say that. Yeah, this is real. Sadly.
MAGA loves Charles Payne. Whatever it may be.
Wow.
Although one of our favorite clips is Charles
endorsement.
Payne demolishing David Mishery.
Asking about that SG&A.
That's the only good thing he's done on Fox Business.
Okay, I shared mine.
I don't see it up here.
It's in the
Let me push this back out. Maybe it's. Oh, I see it now. It was just.
Oh yeah, gotta go with Old Faithful.
I almost feel like this is cheating. This is Michael.
So these billions of cat errors are really mostly GME. They're looking
is
at
this
the
his
cat,
excuse for getting blown out on his options?
Of, like, the errors that are coming up like daily or whatever. So Michael's saying that it's all GME. If the SEC is really closing up the ETF loophole used to short retail stocks, this could be very exciting. It seems more than coincidental that T+35 of all these cat errors comes due on the anniversary of the last GME run-up. I think it has something to do with the old Credit Suisse swaps. My guess is that
what is it with these Credit Suisse swaps?
My guess is that since anything but kicking the can will bankrupt UBS, which would tank the economy of Switzerland, something must be happening behind the scenes. The next few weeks are going to be very exciting. And then he lists the errors, the daily errors from the CAT system. But yeah, they must
so 14 billion in GME only on
they
one
must
day.
all belong to GME.
That's amazing when there weren't even 14 billion transactions.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, those are just numbers.
Where's he getting his
all
data?
All
Do we
that
have
matters
like a citation
is
on
that, it sells.
Also, Platinum, maybe you can explain this to me. What is it with what's the mythology behind the Credit Suisse swaps? All of these baggies talk about it.
It's Archegos.
Right. Not only that, but also like he was involved in GME a little bit a long time ago. What's his face? Bill Huang. And then swaps are not reported, right? So they're like this, sort of like like boogeyman type of thing, right? Like 'cause they're not public, so who knows what could be happening there.
I think it's important to
that's just my guess.
It's important to remember that Bill Huang was a long
and he was, I'm pretty sure he was actually like short GME at one point, or they wrote a letter. I don't know. I would have to look. Okay, but we got maybe the deal. Okay, so first of all, this is April 25th, so this is yesterday. Maybe the deal really is wrapped up now. RK also posted a wrapped gift, and now today Cohen has posted himself wrapped up. Is the gift about to be revealed? Okay. That wrapped up thing you're talking about is a Jewish thing, along with the black square on his head. It's accompanied with prayer, is Jewish mysticism, not a wrapped up message. Yes, I'm aware, but I believe he is sending a message by having it posted publicly and himself being wrapped up.
Well, he didn't post it. Somebody else posted it.
Right.
Cohen himself didn't. It was the
guy who does it.
Yeah, the guy who does it. Yep. Wasn't Cohen.
Nope. But yeah, totally.
Like, okay, so that gives me context for something I saw earlier.
And that's coming from what's in the box.
But the deal is done or something, whatever. So congrats, guys. Now we know.
So wait, so is this conspiracy theory also coming from this conspicuous nonsense that I saw on Meltdown? 1 second.
Yes.
Yeah. That's like, it's like a box where the prayers, the Jewish prayers go. That's what the box is.
Yeah.
That thing would sell like hotcakes.
Which we also get to this unhinged nuttery.
Jesus Christ. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. Who said that?
This unhinged nuttery. You're told to knock out people's names so they don't get harassed, but I think that person deserves to be harassed. So sadly, we don't get to know who he is, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they sell those like prayer wraps at GameStop, guys, just so you know.
No.
I really can only.
But that wraps everything up.
Thank you,
really
rubbing my axe.
for so long. I'll tell you what.
It. I got 2 votes.
Well, I'll let Platinum win because I can't get from here to again set the poll on YouTube. So unless there's any other voice votes, we'll let Platinum win this time around.
Thank you.
It's been a while because I think I won, like me and Amy. I won 2.
Yeah, I think I like abstained last week. I was like, nah.
Yeah, you were like,
I was too tired.
That's when Kevin Malone's account was locked. You were devastated.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, I quit.
Also, I think it'd be a good time to announce, since we're at the end of the month, I kind of want to get back into the book club thing.
Yeah,
you guys want to kind of get that going again? Yeah. So I was thinking I'll probably have to go back over it. That one book I know we had been talking about, The Spider Network.
Oh, I thought we were going to do
the one about the because you said you knew someone who knew about some of the background of it, the whole LIBOR thing. So I think that would be a really great one to kick it back up with if they were down for doing it, because I think reading the book, having some insight into that, as well when we go over it at the end of May, would make for a really great comeback. And then we also at some point probably after that should do The Big Short, since we planned to do it and then all the funky stuff happened, and then so we'll go back to The Big Short being the one after that. But I thought, since you had mentioned, Amy, that you had an expert in the field or had experienced it at that time, it would be cool to kind of get some insider knowledge beyond what we read in the book. It's called The Spider, and let me look up the whole name, but I think it's called The Spider Network. The Spider Network, the wild story of a math genius, a gang of backstabbing bankers, and one of the greatest scams in financial history. By David Einrich, yeah.
Didn't they get rid of LIBOR?
Yeah, it's SOFR now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's completely managed by the Fed.
It's SOFR because of what he's talking about, because of
what we're
LIBOR,
about to read, which is crazy. Like, once you get to read it and realize how, and maybe it's from the person that's writing the book's research, that like it was highly, like it wasn't just like one. It was kind of like an open secret that everyone was fucking with LIBOR for their own purposes.
Yeah, I mean, it's the LIBOR story is an interesting story.
But we'll make that for our first book. I will be doing it by audiobook. I first listened to it on Spotify because Spotify apparently does audiobooks if you have a paid subscription, but only so many hours in a month, which is pointless, by the way. So I went back and got my Audible subscription again so I could just get a free book once a month. And that'll be our book for the month. And oh, by the way, I can actually listen to the whole book as opposed to just part of it, because I started listening to the book and I was enjoying it, and I listened to it, and when my hours ran out for the month, it was time for the trial of the guy that there were several.
I got that app called Speechify, so it could read me some of these filings that we talk about, and they have. Yeah. I think I paid. It was like $170 for the year. But they have books on here.
Nice.
They have books on here as well.
Oh, that's pretty good. Well, maybe you'll find some there that we might not have on the list. But yeah, that's all I had for this evening. Platinum, anything to send us off with into the good night?
Well, my heart is racing, so I don't recommend this unbuzzed.
Oh no, did you try it while we were on here? In your heart?
She's been drinking it
the whole time. Oh, you've been drinking it the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So
giving
yeah,
you, giving you heart palpitations?
A little bit. Hopefully I make it
I was
tomorrow.
nervous. That's why I didn't want you to drink it. Oh my god.
I mean, I didn't finish it.
All right. So damn, Platinum cost us our one potential sponsorship deal.
Sorry about that. I don't know if they can. Yeah, they can't really afford a sponsorship. By the way, they have $0 in revenue.
If they're going for Kevin Malone.
Well, he's not. They're not even paying him. They're
paying him in shares.
They're paying in shares.
No thanks.
Yeah.
Man, that's gonna suck when they dilute the shit out of them.
So I can get the Spider Network on here, and they even gave me a $30 gift, so now I can get it for free. Well, not for free, but
nice.
I guess they gave it to me for buying the whole year.
Amazing. Anything to finish us off, Amy, without other than good places to get audiobooks?
I know, right? Nope. Have a great
the
weekend,
library.
Everyone.
Use your library card.
I mean, I have the Libby app.
For free.
Like the Libby app has it. Like you can get books on there as well. So do that. But no, you guys have a good weekend.
Oh, also small PSA. If you have a library card, you can also get like museum passes and stuff for either free or super cheap. Lots of libraries do that too. That's all.
Awesome.
Shout out to the library.
Public service announcement to end out the show. Amazing. All right. Well,